Excuse me. Excuse me. That was I don't know what that was. A cough and a sneeze. How is everybody? How is everybody? I hope everyone's good on this uh hump day. Man, I got a whole bag of troubles over here. Every day another problem arises. I'm assuming it's because America's unfair. What up, William? It's good to see you in the chat. So, I had something to talk about. Now I'm like, it was on the top of my mind all day, and now it's gone on. It was it's in the news. First of all, let's talk about this. Can I? No, let's put this. Okay, let's put this light on. Let's talk about France really throwing hissy fits on the world stage about what we're supposed to do for them, right? A lot of our allies really act like spoiled children and they say wild shit about us. It's like, I don't want to say anybody's children, but it's sort of like your kids back talking you, like when they're teenagers, right? But it's not that, right? I mean, you're not going to not be family anymore, but you don't want to hear it, right? So we're still going to be allies, but nobody wants to fucking hear you cry about it. Sometimes shit don't work out, and you're selling antiquated equipment, and you're mad about it. No way. All right, we're not going to look up too much baseball, but we're going to look up does. Man, this is the thing. Moving out of the market that I followed, right? So I followed the Yankees and the Mets. Coming down here, I had to find new baseball and football teams because neither of those teams play here. And I'm not going to be a fan of the Redskins. I'm just not. If you follow me, I mean, you'll know you could pretty much know my headspace. I'm not for that team name. It doesn't make any sense. And then the owner made it worse by going, "I'll die," and it'll be called. And I was like, "You say shit like that, the universe conspires against you." And now the name of the club is the Washington Football Club, which honestly I like better. It reminds me of the New York Football Giants. I always thought rang funny, but I liked it. Hello, Snow Bunny. Good to see you. Yeah, I'm not a fan anymore of I mean, not I wasn't ever really, but I kind of like. But then they made it the Washington Guardians, and it's about two statues at a bridge or a train. And I was like, okay, that's a Chicago thing. I get it, but it's hard to be an international team when not, or at least a national team when it's so specific, right? With the Patriots, everybody can be a Patriot, right? Everybody wants to be a Patriot. The Giants is a nebulous thing. What's a giant? You know what I'm saying? The Jets are plain. And by the way, the Jets name is sort of an antiquated thing. They named themselves that at the top of the jet age, and now we're sort of not really caring about jet fighters anymore and Concords and all this. So, and it's green. It's green and it's got a weird name. It's very 1968. It places itself in a space. Um, just like the 49ers places themselves in the space, but there's history with the 49ers that everybody knows, right? The minor 49ers and gold rushes. So that's a little more what it's like if I had a football club, right? And I lived in Brooklyn and I called it the Bodega Cats. People would be like, what? What? You would have to be in New York to know that every fucking bodega has a cat in it. Seriously. Um, yeah, so you'd be like, why? That's really specific, right? Why would you name your? I mean, I get. I mean, I don't even understand the Lakers, right? California doesn't even have any water anymore. Um, the Grizzlies, I get. The Timberwolves, I get. Name yourselves after an animal's always been the power of that animal. I totally get it. But the Braves, maybe you should change that name. But I'll tell you, that's not the only one. You should also change the Celtics. That's a name that no one says. You know what I'm saying? Especially we got a whole team of black guys. You're calling yourself the Celtics, right? Maybe all these ethnic names should disappear. Or start a team called the Black Thugs, right? What would that be? A football team or a basketball team? People would be like, why would you name it that? Oh, I love hip hop and I love that tough image. Oh no, it's all about love. That's why I named it that. People would be like, no, that's ridiculous. And I'm sure we can come up with mean ones for women and short people and tall people and obese people. And no matter what exists in the world, there's a negative name for it. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, just change the name, but then you change it to something that's a little. It's the Guardians, right? The Washington Football Guardians. Washington Football Club. All right, let's see. We got Washing. What is SHINGTO? Okay. Washington Football Club. This is what we want their wiki. The Washington football team is a professional American football team based in Washington metropolitan area, formerly known as the Washington Redskins, formerly known as the artist, formerly known as 89 years old. Yeah. I mean, plus it got its name in an era where this kind of bullshit was fine. Uh Name change, Dallas rivalries, really? How many if rivalries, Dallas Cowboys, Philadelphia Eagles, New York Giants. You can't have three rivalries. That just makes you the dick. That means three people don't like you. A rivalry is you and one guy. And half the team goes, that dude is awesome, that other guy's an asshole. And then the other half of the team goes, no, you got it backwards. That guy's awesome, the other guy's an asshole, right? You get three rivalries. You got these three guys all agree that guy's an asshole. Words matter. I mean, people like the rivalries. um, Rasta. Now I want Rasta Pasta. Retired numbers, awarding logos and uniform, Redskins name and logo. Is it really a controversy? It's not really a controversy. Let's look up the word controversy. I'm telling you, I love my nephew. When he comes over, we're always arguing about stuff, and then he'll use a word that is low key laid back with the average populace. It's not even just black. But when you're trying to be specific, and this is why I really appreciate lawyers, when you're trying to be specific, you want the proper word because the proper word gives a finer context to what you're talking about, right? So yeah, I don't think this is a controversy. It's not a scandal. What the fuck would you call this? We said change it. He said no. He owns the team. That's not really a controversy. Uh, and neither is it racial. It's no longer, that's not controversial anymore either. We all says it's racial. The team from Redskin branding 1933 to 2020 was the leading example. Was it the leading example of Native American mascot controversy? As a team, Redskin have been defined as offensive. That's the thing, right? Couldn't like the Indians is fine. I think you can name somebody the Indians. Um, no, I don't think you can name anybody the Indians, right? That's a whole bunch of people. That's like naming your football team the Chinese. Yeah, just change it, man. The world shifts. You got enough money and enough lawyers to do it. But he hunkered down in it, disparaging various Native people. What's the name of the new team? That's what we're really looking for. Following George Floyd protests, they retired the name. The team will be playing as a Washington football team until a permanent name is chosen and revealed in 2022. Really? I thought we knew what this name was. Washington football team. Okay. Wait a minute. Well, I thought we knew what this name was. Washington football new name. I know I'm not crazy. When will the Washington football team pick a new name? What is the Washington Redskins called now? The Washington football team is looking for a nickname. The team with the come on, it was leaked. Breaking Washington reveals new name and logo. All right, here we go. Let's get this up so we all can see the grand goodness of it. All right. I guess she's for anyone wondering if the Washington team will be changing its name before the start of this season, think again. Well, hold on. Cole Thompson, July 10, 2021. Oh, she's talking this season. Uh Think again. As reported first by the Washington Post, Nikki Jhabvala, Jhabvala, Jhabvala. Washington will remain Washington football WFT, Washington football team for 2021 season. According to the team president Jason Wright, the new name and logo is, however, on the horizon. Hello, whoa. Last season, where is it? I mean, this whole thing act like you knew what it was, right? Right reassures remains the same, right? This this is misleading. Washington revealed new name and logo, and then you didn't. You essentially lied. All right. Let's look on the news because people like to break shit like this. Been watching football team. What has been the impact of white football team? I read it. Where did I read it? Has narrowed name choices. ESPN 2 weeks ago. Now I read this about I want to say 3 months ago. Watching football team roster cuts. Explain. God damn it. All right. Washington Redskins new name. Washington Warriors, Washington Renegades. All right, people are pulling stuff out of their butt here. It was on ESPN. Dang it, Washington Redskins new name and logo. I guess not. And then for football team helmet, I guess not. The Karens, that's pretty good. The Karens. Washington Generals. But see, here's the thing about the name Generals. It's taken in football by, guess who? Donald Trump. He had the Washington, no, he did, it was the Jersey Generals when he had I'm about to say the UFC, which is not, when he had the UFL, Washington Red Tails. And see, this is almost like the same thing. Like if you named it the Red Tails, that's sort of like a very specific thing to the military and to black people. Why would you name it that? You'd be in the same boat. The Caucasians. My friend has this shirt. I'm so dying to get it. But I think it goes again. I think it's witty and it's clever. But I think excuse me. I think it sort of goes against my personal philosophy to have that shirt, the orange skins, the rednecks. It's another thing. You couldn't have a team name like that without offending all these people. Man, I cannot believe I can't find that thing about the Washington Redskins new Guardian name. Let's see if that comes to anything. Guardians. All right. That's the logo I saw. Two These two logos and helmet designs prove Guardian. Rap New York Washington name and logo can be reviewed June 10. Washington team may stick with their. What's wrong with the logo? Guardian chose a new name for the Cleveland baseball team. Washington reviews new name and logo. That wasn't it. All right. All right. I can't find it. We're gonna let that one go. Let's check the chat. Let's move this. Uh, the Cleveland Guardians, right? You read it too. All right. So I'm not crazy. All right. So why are you not a Redskins fan anymore, Snow Bunny? Is it like if I relocate, I feel like I have to change my teams, give the hometown, especially if there's a team here, hometown team a little love, right? I asked my homie once, a guy I grew up with. I was like, okay, we grew up being New York Jets, Giants, Yankees fans. Now that you live in where does he live? I want to say in North Carolina, South Carolina. Uh, who do your kids root for? And I think it was like the Marlins, right? I mean, he got them into sports, but they got to pick their own teams, and they had no allegiance to his team, which I guess was interesting. Most dads like bring you to their teams, right? And that it's passed down. But I was a Redskins fan, not anymore. Yeah, I was a Yankee fan, but I wasn't one. I was one of these Yankees over the Mets kind of thing. I was like, I like baseball, right? I didn't really care, but I always like the underdog. So I generally rooted more for the Mets because the Mets suck. My God. So if the Giants get there, you're like, oh yeah, like you're happy on like a level 10, but you sort of knew that they were going to get there. If they don't, you're sort of shocked, but you don't feel real bad about losing because your feel bad is still at like a 6. That's fairly high because they're always winning, so you never really feel bad. With the Mets, you you feel like a 3, 2 or 3 all the time. And when they win, even when it's not in a playoff game or a series, you are like super happy. You're like pegging at a 7 or 8 on a random game of someone that would normally have beat them and they pulled it out. Right. So then when they get to the playoffs, your happiness at like, and you haven't even won anything yet. Your happiness is at like a 12. You're so much more animated over it. But then when they lose, they break your heart. You drop back down to like where, like not where you were, but like a 1. Like you just feel worse. But then it's close to the 2 and 3 that you're normally at anyway. But it crushes you. But then you go, the Mets, man. What are you gonna do, right? So when you do fall, and it makes sense if you listen to what I'm saying. When you do fall, you fall back into familiar territory, but which doesn't hurt you as much. But when they win, the euphoria is greater. So yeah, I like that. Yeah, the Mets suck. I think that season ended yesterday, if I'm not mistaken. Is that for rodent control? The team is lame. Every Super Bowl it was a big deal in my home, and my husband was a Cowboys fan. Oh man, everybody loved the Cowboys, and I was a Skins. Oh right, well the Cowboys and Indians play every Thanksgiving, right? So I'm sure your Thanksgivings were just fire. My goodness, let's put that up. Cleveland has a go. I should be reading these out loud because again, the chat doesn't go every place. As a Native American, that's why I was a Redskins fan. Just saying. Oh, okay. Cleveland has the Guardians on the bridge. Oh, is it a bridge? Okay. The name is Washington Football Team, and it's lame. Yeah, it is. It is. It's fairly lame, but I like it better than the Indians because it reminds me of like I said, the New York Giants football club, which I was like, that is a long and wordy thing to call them. Uh, and now it sounds old timey for like I think the team is 100 years old. Weren't the Washington Generals the team the Harlem Globetrotters always be? Yes, yes, you're absolutely right. The Washington Generals were the basketball team. The Globetrotters kicked around. So there's a couple of generals. Well, generals are big, right? It's military, it's high rank, it's an honorable. So yeah, name the team the generals. Washington, but there are no admirals, right? The Washington Generals. Oh my God, that logo is butt ugly. History also known as the Boston Shamrocks, 71-72. New Jersey Reds, 71-72. You had 2 team names in the same year. Baltimore Rockets, 71-72. That's 3. Atlanta City Seagulls, 71 to Atlantic City Seagulls. Wow. Wow. Okay. Uh well, they are the Seahawks, which is lucky. At least there's hawks in the name, but the gull is just what makes me giggle. 71-72. The New York Nationals, 95 to 2006. Okay. International Elite, 2011 to International Elite. But you keep getting your butt kicked by the okay. Global Select, 2011-2012. World All Stars. They're a barnstorming team. In athletic terminology, barnstorming refers to a sports team of individual athletes that travel to various locations, usually small towns, to stage exhibition matches. Barnstorming teams differ from traveling teams in which they operate outside the framework of an established athletic league. So you still get to play basketball, the thing you love. You just don't get the Nike deal and loved by everybody. The general existed primarily as part of the Harlem Globetrotters Act, effectively being stooges for the Globetrotters while the Globetrotters play tricks and spectacular displays of skills for the crowd. It reminds me of that Krusty the Clown when the episode where he opened up a bunch of colleges so he could teach people, and Homer takes the course. That Simpsons has a couple of my favorite one-liners. Um, and so he bet all this money on the Generals to win. He said he thought they were due, and then you see him watching TV. It's this shot of him yelling at the TV, and he's like, "Oh, take the ball." He's spinning. No, what? Right? Yeah, like he's spinning the ball on his finger. Just take it. Oh, right. So it's that one. And Fat Tony's in it. Yeah, it's just good, stupid comedy. And then Homer rides the tiniest unicycle, and his pants get pulled off into like this wheel, and as he rides past Krusty the Clown, Krusty says, "Burn that seat." It's just back when, man. I got to tell you, it's a good show, but it was really good when Conan O'Brien was on, and it was really good with who's the other producer? Uh but ever like everything, it ebbs and flows. It's not everything's not gonna be a number one hit. But man, I'm sorry, that just reminded me of the Generals. Take it. He's spinning it on his finger. 1995, the teams played as the New York Nationals in maroon jerseys. They played under a variety of different names, right? Yeah, that makes sense, right? You keep the same guys, and you give the but are there names on the back of these jerseys? Can't even tell. Uh, dissolved 2015, reformed 2017. Why was it dissolved? What happened to they have a head coach? Is an American former NBA player who currently is touring as a coach of the Washington Generals. The team perennially loses to the Harlem Globetrotters. He was going on with his play at the Rutgers Park. Yeah. All right. Good job, guys. Oh my gosh. Uh, yeah, that's what we want to look up. Cleveland Guardian Bridge. Cleveland Guardian Bridge. Yeah, this is what I was looking at. Like this thing. I mean, it's very Art Deco. I mean, don't get it wrong. This was obviously built in the early 30s. Art Deco as fuck. Um, it's beautiful. Art Deco is fucking beautiful. It's all over New York. I mean, that's why I know it. Look at the lips and the nose on that guy. He looks like a what's those South American heads that oh damn it. Giant head, the Olmecs, giant. No, don't look up. It's Olmec, right? Olmec. Olmec. Why is my cap on? No, not. Oh boy, Olmec. Is it Olmec? Oh, it's Olmec. Olmec, not Almec. Yeah, see, maybe if you had your yeah, look at this thing. I love these things. Oh, maybe I need to swap this out. So look at this thing. Let me get me out of here. Look at this. Oh, look at this thing. They're all over the place. They're ginormous. Let's look at this one. Here's a guy standing next to one. I always love these. The idea of a giant head, a couple of hundred tons, is amazing to me. Let's see if we can pop it open in a new window. Look at this. And you just found them. But some of them look like they were mushed up against the glass, which is another thing that I think is interesting. Ugh, that's good. Full lips. Yeah, they all have hats. It's amazing. Maybe I painted all Mac. All right, so what do we got? Let's get rid of this. Let's get rid of this. Cleveland Guardians. Let's look this up. All right. Hope Memorial. Oh, the Hope Memorial Bridge. All right. History. Here we go. A bond is that you pay. Okay, so they built it the old-fashioned way with bonds from the people. All right. The bridge was listed in the National Registry. 1932. The bridge was completed in 19. I knew it. 1932 at the cost of $4.7 million or 90 million today. $4.7 million in 1932 was 90 million today. And back then, fucking Rockefeller had $1 billion. How much was that? Back before fucking taxes. How much was $1 billion back in 1932? Am I even going to look this up? This is a rabbit hole. We're not going to look this up. We're not going to look up how much money, hey, if it'd be worth $1 trillion, because it probably worth. It's got to be worth like $1 trillion. It's got to be. The name is Washington Football. Weren't the Washington Generals? Yeah, true. Did you remember another team similar to the Globetrotters? Not as popular. No, but I'm sure there had to be, right? Once a thing is popular, someone tries to put their own together. Um, a pair of peregrine falcons nest under the bridge. Good job. I approve of that. The bridge statues also serve as an inspiration for the future name of the Cleveland Major League Baseball team, the Cleveland Guardians. So Guardians is named they have already, and it's a football team. The Cleveland Indians are an American professional baseball team based in Cleveland. The Indians compete in Major League Baseball (MLB) as a member club of the American League. They have played Progressive Field, the Cleveland Guardians. So the Indians have changed their name to the Guardians. Is that right? And the Washington and the Washington Redskins have changed their name to. Obviously, I was wrong then. Indians, Indians, Indians. Established in 1894. Team logo C is for Cleveland. Okay, it's an American football team. Did they? So what is going on here? Logos, uniform, interleague, seasonal. All right, I'm confused as fuck. Redirected from Cleveland Guardians. All right. This says they're still known as the Indians. So what sent me here? The British Register is ready for the name of the Cleveland's Major League Baseball team, the Cleveland Guardians. Did the Indians change their name? Oh, so they got ahead of this and they're changing it next year. Okay, so I think I read about this and thought it was the football team. How come this is not how come this is not mentioned there? Cleveland. I know a couple of things about Cleveland. I know Cleveland is where the Drew Carey show was based, and that there's a very popular song called Cleveland Rocks. And I think it's there at the city's. And I know this because there's a whole bunch of Cleveland people living in Brooklyn now, or at least when I was there. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. Nice city, though. Look at that. That is fucking this right here. Okay. Um, I like old cities, but yeah, all these glass statue stuff, I'm not a fan of anymore. I like actual architecture. Spinning in infinity. All right, Cleveland, officially the city of Cleveland, is a city in U.S. state of Ohio, and the county seat of Cuyahoga County. U.S. Maritime, the largest city, Cleveland was founded in 1796. Okay. Designated as Gamma Global City. A global city, also called Power City, World City, Alpha City, or World Center, is a city which is a primary node in the global economic network. The concept comes from the geography and urban studies and ideas that globalization is created and furthered in strategic geographical locations. Uh, you people suck. All right. Oh, what was that? Soldiers and Sailors Monument. We have this almost the same thing in we in not Prospect Park, Fort Greene Park. Soldiers and Sailors Memorial. I guess it makes sense that there'd be more Soldiers and Sailors Memorial, Fort Greene Park. All right. Yeah, here it is. I've got a ton of pictures of this thing. I think it was the most beautiful thing. It's got that little door. Oh no, Prison Ship Martyrs Monument, right? So I want to say these are Fort Greene Monument. Okay, hold on. I've got to, yeah. A German-born American sculptor and architect. Da, 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 da. Contact remains of deceased prisoners during that's right, the Revolutionary War, right? The British maintained a series of prison ships in New York Harbor and jails on the shore for prisoners of war. Due to brutal conditions, more Americans died in British jails and the prison ship in New York Harbor than all the battles of the American Revolution. So they just shoved you in there and let you die. The British disposed of the bodies of the dead from the jails and ships by quick internment or throwing the bodies overboard. Following the end of the war in 1780, the remains of those who died on the prison ships were neglected, left to lie along the Brooklyn shores on Wallabout Bay, a rural area little visited by New Yorkers. On January 21st, 1877, the New York Times reported that the dead came from all parts of the nation and every state of the Union was represented among them. Yeah, it's an amazing thing. Um, they never like the Brazers anymore, though. It's never lit, which is sad. Bum, 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 bum. Is that a divot? Herman Matson, statue of Cleveland Mayor Tom L. Johnson. Cleveland's iconic terminal. The Cuyahoga River winds through the flats in December 1937 area of Cleveland. Wow. Here's the thing about growing up in a city as big as the city I grew up in. All these other cities that I should be impressed with, I never am. Because I always go, oh, their city's only 6 blocks. Okay. You know, I mean, it's like New York City really does spoil you for being appreciative of other places. And it took me like 5 years to really get to not miss it anymore. Now I don't like going back. I like these hometown, small little environments. Uh-oh. When was sunset?
Sunset was at 7 p.m. today.
Wow. When is sunset tomorrow?
Sunset tomorrow will be at 6:59 p.m.
All right, there you have it. Whew, excuse me. Right, the Rock and Roll. All right, the Rock and Roll. I knew the Rock and Roll Hall. Why did they put the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in Cleveland? That's a question I'd like to know. I mean, I get New York has too much shit, but quite frankly, New York did the last great thing New York discovered was hip hop, right? Doo wop, I think, was on the streets of Detroit and then took the nation by storm. Rock and roll was like in the middle of the country, right? Um, what else do you have? Blues was the South, but why is the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in Cleveland? No disrespect to Cleveland. After considering the bids of others, oh, they were bidding. After considering bids uh, of other cities that have been pivotal to rock history, including New Orleans, Memphis, Yeah, maybe we'll make more from Memphis, Chicago, okay, San Francisco. What came out of San Francisco? And New York. The foundation located the music in Cleveland, where disc jockey Alan Freed coined the term rock and roll. And all right, hold on. Where is this? Creation, dissemination. All right. Well, just like that, click on the thing. It took me to a totally different article. I thought it was this one. All right. They named it that because Alan Freed coined the phrase there, but other people were actually making music other places. See, this, this is the this is the ridiculousness, right? I mean, that doesn't make any sense, but and it's also a bidding war. So they needed. I'm just assuming this, but I think that the city fathers thought, hey, we need something here in Cleveland. Like they've got all this other stuff all over the place, and we have a connection to rock and roll. Alan Freed. Um, where is Dick Clark from? I think he's from Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania needs shit too. Dick Clark. 2012. Wow. 9 years ago. All right. Born Vermont, New York. All right. Mount Vernon. You know who else is from Mount Vernon? Puffy. I'm sorry. Is it Puff Daddy? Diddy? P. Diddy? Whatever his name is. You know who else is from Mount Vernon? Heavy D, the overweight lover Heavy D. We used to call it money earning Mount Vernon because everybody had to have a cool slangy thing about where they were from. Right? Bed-Stuy was do or die Bed-Stuy, right? All right, so yeah, New York. But that show was not in New York. That show was in Pennsylvania. Early life, Mount Vernon. Radio and television, country music. He later replaced Robert Earl, who later hosted the GE College Bowl on newscast. In addition to American Bandstand, 1952, Clark moved to Drexel Hill, Pennsylvania. All right, I knew I wasn't fucking crazy. Where he took a job as a disc jockey. Okay, so Pennsylvania has a shot at this. All right, let's look at Alan Freed, who got fired. And that's the last we heard of him. But apparently, it's forever synonymous with rock and roll now. Good job. 1945 to 1965. Three spouses: Betty Lou Bean, Marjorie J. Hess, and Inga L. Boyloin. All right, so what do we got? Career, WKRP, WAKR. I'm sorry, WKRP, WJW, Moondog Coronation Ball, Cleveland Arena, Friday night. Look at these fucking cool ass posters. New York stations, film and television. All right, when are they gonna legal troubles, payola scandal? All right, personal life, in popular media. All right, let's read archives. Sample of free introduction on the Moondog Show was used by Ian Hunter in the opening of the now classic song Cleveland Rocks from Hunter's 1979 album You're Never Alone with Schizophrenia. You're Never Alone with Schizophrenia. That's the name of your album? That is fucking ridiculous. I'm sorry. Dan, known as Shocking Guy on Haps, does a lot of Cleveland tours. A lot of cheaper to a lot of building going on. Yeah, just because it's cheap. I mean, there's a time you want to get. You don't want to get in where it's so cheap that crime is ridiculous, right? Um, but no matter what, they'll just push you out because if you have a house, right, and you have a dad get sorry about that. If you have a house and you have a room to rent and you want $300 a week and I can pay that, but someone comes up and goes, I'll give you $7. You're gonna take that $7, right? And then the guy down the the street comes in and he's got money in his pocket and he'll pay 6, and all of a sudden the real estate's are like, oh, we gotta raise it all across the board. And this is what happens, right? And then other people will come through and they can, you're paying 7 now, and then someone else is coming through and they can pay you 1100. And before you know it, you'll hit a point and you'll begin to bleed people out of your city, which is what's happening in New York. And like I tell my friends, everybody wants a fucking maid, right? You have to do this shit yourself because the maid can't afford to live here to come here to do all the nonsense. Legal troubles, payola scandals. All right, I guess that's it. Uh, that's enough for Cleveland. What were we looking up? We were looking up. Do we want to look up the other teams, the Harlem Globetrotters? All right, why don't we do this? The Indians or the Guardians next year? How many teams changed their name? How many pro? Which changed the Indian names? 15 teams that dumped their racist mascot. All right, this is sports team. So the Indians are gone. The Redskins are gone. Golden State Warriors are gone. What is this, Philadelphia? What the fuck did the Philadelphia Warriors basketball team move to San Francisco in 1969? They decided to drop the Native American logo in favor of the locally known Golden Gate Bridge, but kept the name Golden State Warriors. 1970 dropped the Savages as the school's mascot. 2 years later, they officially became the Blue Hawks Savages. Dartmouth College dropped the F. Why did this country love Indians to stick them on stuff? I mean, look, at the beat. When did we get here? 1492, somewhere around May. So they anticipate January of 1492, like 5 months before the Europeans arrived here, there was 120 million American Indians. And in all of Europe, there was only like 80 million Europeans, all of them in all the countries. How many Indians before Columbus? Prior to Columbus arriving from America, there were both thriving indigenous populations totaling more than 60 million. It's way more than that. A little over a century later, that number dropped to 6. That's not right. That's not right. How many? How many Europeans and Europeans? How you spell your EURPEONS? Your eons in what is that? 1492? 70 to 88 million. Okay, that sounds a little more solid, but because each country would have had about 8 to 10 million people. And they were perpetually at war because there's only 60 million British people in the world today. Today. Right? So it's not like at one point they had 300 million or some shit. Yeah, but this is crazy. That's not right. In the 1400s. Let's do that. Native American history, Britannia, indigenous killed some, European colonists killed some indigenous. Right. Massive population drop found by Native American DNA. This is all the stuff we know, though. I'm looking for an actual number that isn't ridiculous. Yeah, well, not everyone. He said 60 million. So maybe my first read. What is this? More than 5 million in 1492, estimated another 2 million Native people lived in what is today Canada, Alaska, and Greenland at time 24. San estimated between 8 and 12 million indigenous people lived in North America, north of the present day Mexico. And he's saying 8 to 12. The other guy said 60. Scholars estimate pre-Columbian population in Northern America have differed by millions of individuals. The lowest credible approximation is at 900,000. That is fucking low. And the highest is 18 million. Is that right? All right. Well, I thought it was 120. Not 120. Like 110. Like slightly over 100 million people. New Colorado granting Native Americans and say, are we still doing this? Look, I maintain that if you fix this shit between the Native Americans and Black people, you wouldn't have all these people coming here starting packs about they want representation when they suffered no slight. They just showed up. You know what I mean? It doesn't make any sense. It's what they used to call a fifth column. People who show up here in mass to undo you from within. And you're supposed to be on the lookout for that, right? In the beginning of World War II, they snuck a submarine up, I want to say either in the Rockaways or on the shore of California, and let Germans off, and they caught them all immediately because no one spoke English. But it's that kind of thing, right? People sneak into your country, and people are smarter now. Are they really? I mean, there's a whole bunch of Haitians at the border. It is what it is. Tours of Cleveland. I'm sure it's interesting. I don't mean I don't. I'm not disparaging Cleveland. There's a tour in Brooklyn you can go on where they stop traffic in this big intersection on Atlantic Avenue, and then you climb down a manhole cover and you can see the old city that they built everything on. It's really, maybe I can look that up. City tour under Brooklyn. I used to run that bridge every day. I was fit as fuck. City tour, city under. This is the old shit. Look at this. Underground New York City. Other people were here before you, and here it is. The light at the end of the tunnel that never goes out, Brooklyner. Let's see a picture of it. There's a guy here. Yeah, you can walk down here. I mean, I don't know why you would want to. It strikes me as something out of a horror movie, but you can go down there and take a tour. Yeah. Come on down into the pit. It's like a horror movie. Why would you want to? But some of it is beautiful. That it. I think this is one. Look how beautiful this shit is. I mean, there's stories about how when the subway first opened, people would go on and take a ride like it was a roller coaster. They paid. They, oh, this is great. And they come back down. Oh, and that was that was the fun ride for everybody back. I guess what 19 when did they build the subway system? The 1910s. Been there so long, no one really cares anymore. Everybody cries and complains about everything. I feel you. I appreciate you. I would complain to nothing on the subway works, but it is sort of a marvel. I mean, not for nothing. It is sort of a marvel. And we didn't get into any of the stuff that I wanted to get into yet. Marvin Van Peebles died. So here's the thing: bipartisan bill for police reform failed. I could have told you it was going to. Oh, bipartisan police reform legislation talks end without a deal. It remains out of reach. You don't need new laws, you bitches. You need to enforce the ones you got, and you're not enforcing the ones you got. So, for you to keep conning the Black community to keep voting, you need to do something. So now what you're going to do is make another law that people are going to ignore. So when I saw this talk, I was just kind of like, meh, whatever. You got racists in your police departments, and you've always had them, and you've never acknowledged it. And you just caught a border guard on TV fucking saying some wild, loose shit. Yeah, this is all you need to do. You want to fix it? The next 5 years, just start firing shitty cops. Fuck you and your union. And then look into your union who covers for them. You know, you need to take the wind out of the sails. You need to let people coming in know, oh, I'm never going to walk down that road. That's too steep a price to pay. Now there is no price to pay. These people are just a fucking joke. They're all a sorry fucking joke on the citizenry. Because you need cops who are not ridiculous. And then people do stuff like this. Black power, okay. For photo ops and nonsense. It's like, shut up. Like, man, now we run the clock because it's going to happen again. You can't even come up with a group of rules saying that the cops should not be wild and ridiculous, right? Jim Clyburn is a mess. He's trying to save his ass too because he looks like how can I phrase this? I'm thinking about having a black show to talk real heft, but you know, I assume that my audience is everybody. But we in the Black community are not feeling him, and he's from an all Black district. So now he's got to do something. He's got to say something. He's got to produce something, and he can't. How much time did you spend at Coney Island? Oh man, I spent a lot of time at Coney Island. Those hot dogs were fucking fantastic. I didn't do a lot of going to the beach though. Put your feet in, but I wouldn't swim in the water. I don't know why. One, I'm not a swimmer. But same thing here. I live in a beach resort town, and I think I go to the beach once every 2 years. Because I'm not going to swim. Then I just end up looking at the pretty ladies, and that's just creepy. So I can sit here in my air conditioner and play video games. Tim Scott unveils GOP police bill that you couldn't get passed. Senate Dems blocked the Dems blocked the police reform bill. What is the Republican police reform? They blocked the Republican police reform bill. This was when she was in the Senate. All right, they're both trash. Let's look up something. Bipartisan police reform legislation talks end without a deal. Politico? You want to try Politico? That's supposed to be credible. They're not serious. They're just not serious. They're just black. That's it. Bipartisan police reform talks have officially collapsed. The end to the discussion came after Senator Cory Booker, Democrat New Jersey, and Tim Scott, Republican South Carolina, and Rep. Karen Bass, Democrat California. She was the only congressperson there. Where was the Republican? Okay, fine. Spent months trying to reach an agreement with little progress. I mean, the negotiators had moved their self-imposed deadline for coming to a deal several times. Couldn't even meet your own deadline. You suck. but the difference between both sides ultimately proved too vast. What are you talking about? It's supposed to be the police department for everybody. How do you not, as a federal government, not have a vision of what the police should be? Why are they operating then? Among the key sticking points were reform, qualified immunity, which you need to change. Yeah, you need to lose shit out of your pension if you're running around killing people and expecting the people of your town to pay for it. And then when they do, you're being arrogant about it and doing it again. You ended a life. I mean, look, man, I'm pro cop, but I'm not fucking ridiculous. The bad guy should be punished. And they've spent 50 years making this beast. Now you have to unmake it. And you don't need another 50 years to do that. Among the key sticking points were reforming qualified immunity, which shields police officers from civil liability for misdeeds. I mean, that guy who stuck a plunger up that dude's butt in prison, he didn't get sued personally, and he should have. What? I mean, you know what I'm saying? You need to fix this. Negotiators hit a stalemate on the provision and ultimately decided to take it off the table this summer. Okay, so what happened to the rest of it? Instead, they focused on a slimmed down version of the legislation, but even that proved too difficult. You suck. The effort from the very beginning was to get police reform that would raise professional standards, okay? Police reform that would create a more transparent way, okay? And one that would create accountability, and we are not able to come up with agreement on these three big issues, three big areas. Booker told, look, my whole thing is this. Why am I going to cooperate with you then? And you don't want it to get to that point. You don't want every time you show up to have to bring 700 cops with you. I mean, you have watched the world burn from insurgencies for about 25 years. You know, don't be so arrogant to think that people will continue to take bad treatment. And we've taken bad treatment for 300 years. So I can totally see why you would think that it would go on. But the environment is different. The environment is absolutely different. Absolutely different. In the land of guns, more people don't go to church like they did back in the day, praying about it and hoping the Lord and doing what the policemen tell you to do. And, you know, hopefully it won't be you. That's out the window. No one believes that shit anymore. I think the environment is going to be incredibly different in like the next 10 to 15 years. I really do. They should fix this. The effort from the beginning was to get so we checked that. To come up with the three big issues, Booker told reporters Wednesday, it was clear to me that we weren't making any more substantive progress. The New Jersey Democrat added that the negotiators weren't even able to codify an executive order from former President Donald Trump that offered guidelines for law enforcement and created incentives for local police departments. I think that some people just went in here to make sure nothing get done because they like it the way it is. So, yeah. And what kind of fucking, man, I don't even, don't get me started. Oh, my God, it doesn't make any sense that people can treat people like this. Right. The Donald Trump had guidelines. You couldn't even agree on those. This was just to say no. This was just to be in the room to torpedo shit. And that's what this was. Plus, these two are incompetent. I mean, after months of making progress, I'm deep. Oh, really? You made progress? Then where is it? All of a sudden you made all this progress. Now you don't have any? You don't have anything? But you said you made progress. Man, after a month of making progress, I'm deeply disappointed that the Democrats have once again and he's talking shit, squandered a crucial opportunity to implement meaningful reform to make our neighborhoods safer and mend the tenuous relationship, oh boy, between law enforcement and communities of color, said Scott. Crime will continue to increase while safety decreases and more officers are going to walk away from the force. Let them walk. And that's not happening, by the way. No one's giving up their job. What they're doing is a slowdown. They're just not policing. They're not arresting anybody because they're butthurt. And they're going, well, you go out there and get murdered while I sit here, still collect this check, and that'll teach you who's boss. You're supposed to be able to go out there and fire that guy. And more of us are going to walk away from the force because negotiating partners walk away from the table. There's a word that we in the Black community have for people like this. Jonathan Thompson, Executive Director and CEO of the National Sheriff's Association, Echo Scott. Oh yeah, really? Cops who want to be able to kill you in the street. I'm like they still have it the way they had it. They can I'm losing my mind on this. I've got something to say about every third sentence. All right. I don't think we're gonna finish reading this because this is bullshit. I can't even fuck with it. I mean, the arrogance of people who lie to you to your face and you know they're lying has always pissed me off. I used to roll up on people. You've been drinking, they smell to death of alcohol. No, not drinking. Okay. Roll up on people that you spotted selling drugs. Anybody selling? No. All right. But then I got you cold. There's another thing entirely. Oh boy. A parole board recommended Julius Jones' death sentence be commuted. A week later, his execution date was set. Because, I mean, look, the bad guys are in positions of power. And since you can't march it out of the way or vote them out, apparently, you can't, and the people who are for you don't do anything for you. Yeah, I think dark days are going to be coming to this place. And deservedly so. I hate to be the one to say it. But yeah, it doesn't make any sense, man. I mean, it's just common sense, plain, decent treatment of people. And it's like some people don't want to do that. And I'm not saying everybody, but I mean, when you find that guy, you got to get rid of that guy. It's that simple. Or girl, whatever the case may be. All these people talking about they saw him doing stuff near her body. Ugh. It's crazy. All right. People sadly, what a weird country we are. People go missing. And unless you can catch the lightning in the bottle, no one really talks about you. Right? Shouldn't we all care about the missing? I mean, yeah, I don't know. Why wouldn't you get all the men out and all the able-bodied people out? And what did they used to say? Beat the bushes, or what the case may be. But yeah, everybody's just clicked off into their small groups, and hate is the thing that gets people elected in this country. 7 lawmakers didn't disclose stock trades. Yeah, they go there, they get rich. They want to sit there for 50 years, and they can't even make sure that the cops don't beat you up or kill you. So, since no change has been enacted, they can still do it, right? And then the people who can still do it are going to go, oh, shame, woe is me. But soon the first shooting happens, they're going to be like, well, first you should withhold judgment, and we're going to hold on to this tape, and we're going to lie about all this stuff. Okay. That's the game. It's a violent game to be played, but you know what? You call the tune. You play the fucking stupid game. You've called the tune. Taliban breaking instruments, ordering customers from karaoke parlors. No music at all, ever. You know what? You should have did something. You really should have. Here's something. This kid who killed this girl, Tessa Majors, right? Just some wild, loose boy, 12, I think, shoots this freshman grad. She was from here. She was from Virginia. Yeah, it's sad. But my whole thing is she was like 19 going to college in New York, right? One of the best colleges. And then she ran across this kid who had no future and he killed her. He was 14. But here's the thing. This is sad both ways. I see people see it and it's only sad one way. Oh, that poor girl, poor her, crime, crime, crime. You know, you put this boy in a box essentially. Um, yeah, it's it's grimy, but this was not this. I think this could have been avoided. Latino has pled guilty in connection with the 2019 killing of Tessa Majors, a New York City college student who was stabbed several times while walking through a Manhattan park. Luciano Lewis, oh, they gave his name. Well, I guess he's a convicted felon, all right. Who was 14 at the time of the killing, pleaded guilty to second-degree murder and first-degree robbery in a New York court. He's going to get like 40 years under the guise of we're taking it leniently on you because you're a child. Um, yeah, he's gonna look. He's 14. He's gonna get out when he's about 40. 18. Well, he's gonna do 3 years in juvie. Once he's 18, they're gonna transfer him to prison, and then he'll spend about 25 years there, 25, 30 years there. Majors, a Bernard College student, was stabbed in Morningside Park on December 11, 2019, and pronounced dead at a nearby hospital. In a statement to Living Court, Lewis said he was with two other little kids, two associates, at the park with intent to rob someone. And then they encountered Majors. The other two kicked Majors to the ground and tussled with her. Lewis said although he knew one of them had a knife that night, he did not know Majors had been stabbed, let alone killed until he saw the news story the next morning. So he didn't do the stabbing. He was with these two people. He knew one of them had a knife. All right. Other defendants await trial. Well, okay, so he turned state evidence. It sounds like so he may get out at 21. But whoever did the stabbing is going to do like one of the other defendants in the case, Rashawn Weaver, was charged with 2 counts of murder in the second degree and pleaded not guilty. This is what I don't like about the system. You kill one person, but they charge you with 2 counts of shit. It's a way to pad the man. America is. Weaver, who was 14 at the time of the killing, has yet to stand trial. The last 3 defendants, a teen whose senior is not named because he was not charged as an adult. And that's another thing, charging children as adults. Pleaded guilty to first-degree robbery and was sentenced in June 2020 to 18 months in custody of the Administrative Children's Services. Major's family wants all responsible to be held accountable. Of course you do. Major's family said was aware of Tuesday's plea from Lewis. We remain resolute in our belief that all parties who bear responsibility for Tess senseless deaths will be held accountable. We are deeply grateful to the many people who continue to pursue that goal, the family said in a prepared statement. You lost somebody. I feel you. In particular, we would like to thank the members of the Manhattan District Attorney's Office and New York City Police Department for their tireless and thorough efforts. We have maintained confidence in their work from the beginning. Yeah, down here, everybody loves the fucking cops. You know, it's but you only love them while they're doing what you want them to do. On January 6th, you don't mind hitting them with the face and hitting them with bear mace and all this other bullshit. We have maintained confidence in their work from the beginning and appreciate of their diligence and compassion that they have shown us, said the statement. Be wary, be careful. They told that woman those 5 boys attacked her and she still believes it. We've been streaming for an hour and 10 minutes. I feel like it's Friday. I really do. So I've got some problems here. Let's make this bigger for a second. I cannot seem to get my C chord down. Right? Here you go. Right? Hear that? I just cannot seem to do it. Oops. Cannot seem to do it. So I've been avoiding it. A buddy of mine sent me this girl teaching herself to play guitar on this streamer. And he was like, you're inspiring me, people. So yeah, what did John Wilkes Booth say when he had somebody hold his hands up? He was like, useless, useless. That's what I say to my hands when I'm trying to get this guitar going. Look, I'm a big fairness guy. I really am. I support the cops, but look, 95% of these guys are doing a good job. Okay, maybe not 95. Let's go high 80s. Let's go 88% of these guys are doing a bang up job. But some of these guys are just fucking hateful, evil people, and you have to be able to deal with them. Or don't ask fucking the common citizen to have any faith in what you're doing, and not to protect themselves from the devil. Right? You live in a society where people taught their son to walk into or raise a son. I don't know if somebody taught him this. Is to walk into a church and kill up a whole bunch of people. Right? My whole thing is this. My mother raised me well enough, right? If this happened a couple of times in my life, quick money schemes, I was like, oh, man, I'm not part of that. That's ridiculous, right? The idea immediately hit me as stupid and ridiculous and sorrowful, right? Wanted no part of it. I know me. You can't take me out of that environment, put me in any other environment, and then make me a drug dealer or a violent person or hateful of women, or I'll have a lot to say, and I'll be snotty, and I won't be diplomatic about it, but you know, and I'm weird because I'll get it out, and then it's gone. I remember what I said to you, but once I said it, I harbor no more anger about it, right? Because I like you. That's why I'm discussing this with you. But if my whole position is fuck that guy, I'm not even gonna have that conversation with you. I'm just done with you. I'm not for the drama, right? I am for the solution, but well, here's the thing about cops. Are the evil cops big producers, right? Here's the thing. Here's a scenario. Let's say we're using my idea of tribes again, right? Let's say we're a tribe of 100 people. Let's say 50-50, 50-50, 25, 25, 50-50, 50 women, 50 men, right? And then you can pepper out different ages and religions, all right? But essentially, it's 100 people. Whether that dude is a mugger or a bully who fights all the time, that one person is going to make a lot of people miserable. You know what I'm saying? So if it's somebody who fights, who's a bully, he may, over the course of our walking together, 50 guys, he may beat up 20 of them. That's a lot of people, right? He may smack around 20 women. That's a lot of people. For one guy to be doing that, you got to get rid of him. It's not like one bad cop does one thing and stops. You see what I'm saying? That's the problem. I'm gonna treat you bad. You shut up. I'll go over there and treat you bad. And then the next day he's at it again. And he's working on a 20-year career and he always has friends. So there's a bunch of them fucking with people who they think are inferior for whatever reason they think that. I'm better than you. I'm smarter than you. You're all low people, whether you're black or Asian or gay or whatever. They will cause a lot of drama and anger and bad feelings. You have to get rid of them. And all these departments don't do that. But here's the thing. If you're part of that tribe and you're at the top 10% and you've got 10 men who to guard you and no one talks to you and you get all the great, you don't care what's going on in the back of this line as we march across this imaginary landscape, right? And that guy is not going to fuck with you. He's going to fuck with the other people. Because you let somebody run in and rob Hillary Clinton in her house and watch what the government does, right? It should be a local thing with the local cops. It won't be. The CIA or whoever they are, the FBI or Secret Service or whatever, will run every light who blew a light or cruised through a light, to find you because they're important and you are nothing, right? So under that auspice, you down here with the rest of us nothings have to make sure that down here is at least safe for us because the people at the top aren't. See what I'm saying? So if same tribe, 100 people, if I'm a cat burglar, I can burgle 100 people. I can burgle 3 houses. They don't care. Oh my God, why don't you do so? I'm going to look into it and get the cops on it. Then it's 10 houses. Then it's 20 houses in a murder. Right? Now they want something. And what if the murder victim knew somebody, advised it to the king or whatever? A bad cop gets around like a prostitute. You know what I mean? I mean, you shouldn't have it. And I don't think I'm super. I never fucked with this in my like life, but it's a dangerous gig. There are bad people who kill people. I get that. That's not the guy walking home with potato chips. Why are you fucking with him? You know what I'm saying? I don't watch cop movies. I never watch cop movies. My brother-in-law is a vet. He never watches war movies. We were talking about this. If he said everything seems so fake and heroic, and I completely agree. I mean, he knows military life, right? It strikes his ears wrong, and then on top of that, he's got experience that he don't want to remember. A lot of this stuff strikes my ear as infallible cops and hero worship, which is bullshit. It's propaganda, quite frankly, and it's wrong. And I'm just kind of like, I don't want to see it. And then on top of that, I've got some fucking bad memories. I've seen one too many, abused women and dead babies. Just don't really fucking want it in my head anymore. So I don't watch any cop stuff at all. You know what? All the stuff I watched, like I know 1 Adam 12. SWAT, remember that? Da-da-da, 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 da-da-da. I think it was like 1972. I think that was like I want to say Quincy Jones. But that SWAT theme on TV was so good. It then went on to be on the radio. And I think it ended up like in the top 20 or some shit. SWAT theme song. I don't think we can even play this. Nope, we can't play this. 11 dB. You know who made it? Isaac Hayes. I remember this. I remember the TV commercial promo for this show. When you need help, you call the police. When the police need help, they call SWAT. If you're old enough to know this theme, it was a fantastic time in the 70s. Really, was it a fantastic time in the 70s? Raise your hand, you played the SWAT outside in the backyard. Yeah. Can't even play it because I get a rip from YouTube. Hey. 1 Adam 12 gets a reference. We like that. How's it going, JB? I hope all the things are well. So yeah, look, listen. A bad cop is a problem for everybody, and the history, quite frankly, and I'm not even going all the way back to slavery. I'm just going back to like the 30s of some of the goofy stuff people would do and ruin people's lives forever. Were these arrogant policemen? You should stop that. You should end that. And the fact that you guys couldn't come up with something means you three, like I say, I think it was so nothing could be done. But if you have the Senate and the Congress and the presidency, do something. You remind me of Clinton, not Clinton, Obama, when he had the House and the Senate and he was the president, and he could have pushed a lot of stuff through, but he wanted bipartisanship, and nothing got done. And then they lost it like the next midterm, and then they just stymied him to do anything. Now all he's doing is making Netflix money. Well, here's the thing about YouTube. There's this algorithm, so it knows like the music being played. So that was from some guy who put it up. But I've been hit 3 times by YouTube, like other people put up music. I played a movie that I thought was in that well, the movie was my fault. I thought was in the public domain and it wasn't. So with that, I was 2 for 3. So this way, I just don't even mess with music on YouTube because I think the algorithm is ridiculous. We don't talk politics here on this, not politics. I just been talking politics 2 hours. We don't talk virus here because I have some questions about it, and all of a sudden you'll get a strike on YouTube. And so I don't talk about it. But I will openly say I think YouTube is censoring shit, absolutely, for those in charge on the topic of stuff. But I don't talk about. I just don't talk about it. It's not worth it because it's not like you can call up and someone will pick up the phone and be like, YouTube operator 9473. How can I help you? Yeah, you guys took down a video of mine and I wanted to, there's not going to be any of that. You're just instantly guilty. And then, they'll strike your channel and then you got no channel. Some people they ban from YouTube like they ban people from Twitter. So it's like, ugh. All right, I see what's going on here. The government has somehow gotten to YouTube. And why wouldn't you, right? The billionaire runs the whole thing. You don't have to talk to all of us citizens. You can just go to him and go, I will shut you down because I am the government. And they'll go, all right, what do you want us to do? Right? I mean, China does this all the time. China just like through all these famous people, like imagine if Kim Kardashian, all the people that thought they were bad for China. So imagine if the government was like Kim Kardashian and Cardi B and all these loose, ridiculous people, right? Just had no more career because the government said so. So yeah, you're not allowed to do much in China. China cracks down on internet stars. One woman who was their biggest movie star. She was big. Like, who's the big movie star now? She was like Julia Roberts. She's gone. She don't go to parties. She hasn't been to her house. They don't know where she is. On internet, China cracks down on showbiz for polluting society's youth. China ordered broadcasters on Thursday to shun artists with incorrect political positions and effeminate styles. Communist Party authorities can censor anything they believe violates core social values and already has stringent rules on content range from video games, movies, and music. Yeah. Crazy. Chinese actress disappeared. This is the one I was talking about. Chinese actress disappears from social media as China cracks down on influencers. Movie star Zhao Wei, also known as Vicky Zhao, has seen her work disappearing from the internet as the country continues to tighten its. So her movies are gone, her music is gone. You can't look her up and find any of her shit anywhere. That right there is what. Don't think that doesn't happen here in America. Don't think so. Everybody rolls over once they hit a certain level. The Chinese government has been tightening its controls over culture and the economy in that country. In recent days, its site has apparently turned towards an A-list movie star. An A-list movie star. Oh, she was in Mulan. Wow. I don't even know what to tell you. But yeah, it's Did you see The Serpent on Netflix? What is The Serpent? I'm gonna finish watching Oh, right. Is this about was he a serial killer? Who was he? Right. He was a guy who was killing tourists in Bangkok, right? Yeah, sinister. Sinister shit. I can't watch shit like this. Who's in it? Look at all these people. I know him, I know her. Well, I don't know him. Wait, no, I do know him. Wait, do I know him? Taharo is a French actor, Algerian descent. He's known for starring role in Malika and Private by Jack FBI agent Ali Soufan in the Looming Tower, Judas. No, okay, I don't know him. I know her. She was in Doctor Who. Uh, Doctor Who, right? I don't know who this is. I think I know who this is. Yeah, I don't know who any of these people are. So the Serpent is about this guy who was killing people in. The Serpent is a British crime drama series based on the Mammoth screen and commissioned by BBC. The 8-part limited is based on the crime of serial killer Charles Sobrage, who murdered young tourists from 1975 to 76. The series stars Tahir Rahim in the lead role as Sobrage. The series was shot on location in Thailand. Set in the mid 1970s, 75 or so, the story follows Charles Sobrage, a French serial killer of Indian and Vietnamese descent, as he drugs and robs travelers, particularly young backpackers traveling through Bangkok, Thailand. Along the overland, he steals his victims' passports and identities to travel the world and sell stolen gems with girlfriend Marie Andre Leclerc. Charles Sobrage is at the height of his crime when a Dutch diplomat, Herman Nippenberg, begins investigating the murders of Dutch tourists, more than one of them, and uncovers clues leading to Sobrage. Yeah, I can't watch stuff like this. I really can't. It's when I was somewhere around 15 years ago, I stopped watching violence on television. I wanted something. Well, that's not true. I stopped watching simulated violence on television. Right. So the simulated violence means uh, if I can, like Law and Order. So like I grew up in New York. So if I could walk down the street where they shot this, where there's always a dead girl or something, I don't want to walk down that street, see that same trash can, and have that image in my head, right? It's different if it's Star Wars and or Stargate or Star Trek. No, nobody's got laser guns. There won't be a, you know what I mean. So I can let myself go. But watching stuff like Saw, where that basement could be any basement, right? I mean, didn't that guy keep 3 women locked up in a basement for? So I can't. That I want all my violence. I want to be science fictiony. I want it to be I want it to be cartoonish. So I like graphic novels and I like uh adult like manga, like Japan animation, like cartoons where there's people getting shot and blown, like Crazy World. Is that a movie? So yeah, so that sounds like a movie or a song. I'm thinking of Wild World by oh baby it's a wild world, but I also have the image of Cool World in my head with Brad Pitt and Kim Basinger. But yeah, so my whole thing is just I don't want to like all these true crime shows where like the cops run up and the firemen and homicide 911 and it's all scripted, but you know it's just not for me anymore. Never tell people what they should or shouldn't watch, but I found giving that up helped me more than giving up drinking, right? And so I went back to drinking just because I don't perpetually fill myself with the violent bullshit. Um, what I should give up is politics because politics is making a brother crazy. Uh, but yeah, read stuff like Star Wars and Star Trek, and you read Terry Pratchett books. You play Dungeons and Dragons. You try and play the guitar, and you make it a point of noticing the serious things that are going on, right? So you can't ignore those elections and sadly missing women and the ozone. So you look at that, but all that other stuff. There was 9 people shot in Chicago this weekend. Why are you telling me that? How does that help me? Right? I know why they do that. By the way, it's not so you can be concerned about life or death in Chicago where you don't live. What the majority of people don't live. Right? It's that. It's like we want you to be outraged and have agita. That story of 9 people being shot in Chicago is a local story. As fucked up as it is, why are you telling me that here in Virginia or New York or whatever? I remember once there was it was on because they just want to put anything on TV, right? There are too many reporters, lawyers, outlets. So I want to say it was the Today Show. They were like, "Oh, this just in. Oh, there's been a bus crash in Wisconsin, and oh my God, luckily everybody's all right." And like a car had, I guess, blew a stop sign and hit a bus. So no one died. It was in Wisconsin, and I was like, "Why is this national news?" Right? And if I would have said that like out loud, people would have been like, "Oh, you hate children. You're a monster." I'm like, "No, but it's not news to anybody other than the people in that small town, especially the parents, but maybe wider, the people maybe in the city, right? And at the max, the people in the state." But why? Why are you telling me about a bus accident with children in Wisconsin? 5, 6, and 7-year-olds. I mean, and nobody wants that to happen, but at the same time, this is not news. And then the next story is someone's missing. But then the next story is so-and-so saying he's selling you an album, or he's selling you a cake, or this is how you make a flambe, and he's got a book. Oh, but when you come back, this politician is going to lie to you, and then we'll be right back to telling you how somebody's coming to get you. So you're like, I got to stop watching this stuff. It's killing me. What this society does, what the TV does primarily is sell you fear and then sell you the solution. And since everything doesn't make everybody afraid, it's several things, right? Your Viagra pills also go with all these car commercials, right? All this diet stuff for these women also go with all this sexy clothes stuff for women, right? But some people aren't into that. Then they sell you fear, crime, crime, crime. But don't worry, we cops got you, right? It's like we need more cops, we need more cops, we need more cops. Or if you don't let us do whatever we want, crime's going to get out of control. People are going to be carrying your nieces off. You're like, look, most people who are hurt in this society are hurt by somebody they know. People like when I used to get into conversations, people would be like, black on black crime. I'm like, yeah, there's also Asian on Asian crime and white on white crime, right? The average person who's likely to kill you is looks just like you, and on top of that, is likely to be someone that you know, right? So what I mean, you're being afraid about when the the story on the ground is different from the story that you're telling in the paper. And you always talk about all these guns and everything, and like, why are people like this, right? I mean, if they had opportunity, would they be moving weed or selling drugs or doing any of this shit? Right? No. I mean, and it's not just poor black people, right? There are poor white people. They call them white trash. No, they got the same treatment. The cops kill a lot of white kids too. They do, right? Courts rig cases against poor white people, they do. But by the time it's on TV, it's like all the black, they just want something for nothing, or all these women are just out of control and they just want to papara, or the gays, or the this, or the that. And it's just to keep you angry and unhappy at somebody. I don't know if they captured him yet. Have they captured the guy in Florida Swamp that is suspected of killing his girlfriend? I think he fed himself to the alligators. I really do. It's capital should we have another political system. Here's the thing. Anything overdone is bad for you, right? So I was about to say this, but now I got to go get another ice cube and another glass. If this is straight whiskey, and I know my tolerance, I can have a glass or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 or 7 or 8 or 9 or 10, right? Eventually, I'm going to hit, whether it's the 10th or 11th or the 30th and the 31st, I'm going to hit a point where that becomes a problem. And that's what it is with capitalism. Unfettered capitalism is bad. People are sitting on tons of money that should be in circulation. And other people are bribing people with the money that they make from these dirty tricks. They don't pay taxes. They can pass it down to their kids, who then they don't pay taxes. And you know what I mean? It's just kind of like, are we paying taxes or aren't we? What are we doing here? Are we all doing the same thing? This is not a European burg. You've built a separate system for the rich. You've had a separate system for the whites, right? Not just all the whites either, the rich whites, right? In order for your one small percentage to just be able to do what they want in the financial world, you let those non-rich whites be essentially as dark as they want it to be in the hinterlands. And that's what it looks like to me. Because if they couldn't do the stuff they'd be doing, they'd be like, hey, you're taking insider money from Wall Street, which is how a lot of people got rich in like the stock market crash. Yeah. So all these things where you just have all these questions, but they don't get answered because this is my fiefdom. I will look after your fiefdom. And that's the problem. There's too many fiefdoms going on. People need to not be allowed to stay in government for 50 years and let new ideas reign. And capitalism, the way they're doing it, will break this system. They had to print money for the debt ceiling today. So is the idea, well, not today, but they signed it yesterday or was it today? They signed to raise it and then to either to raise it or to push it back. I think it was to push it back to December 3rd. But the idea is you can't keep printing money, right? I mean, this bill is going to come due. So, and since I was a young man, let's say about 30 years ago, they were well into kicking shit down the road then, and people were complaining about it. But I think kicking shit down the road, excuse my language, became a thing. I want to say around Reagan's era, like the 80s, when people were like, oh, yeah, we'll get this, we'll pay money, we'll pay for it in 2047. You're not going to be here in 2747, motherfucker. What are you doing? And now they've built all this debt on people, all this debt in a changing environment, and in a what's the other one? Not just a changing environment, but climate change. It's giant debt from China and all this, as well as no one being able to freaking afford schools or nobody getting married anymore because they so thoroughly put their finger in the eye of American democracy. Capitalism has killed democracy, right? And that's the way I look at it. People with money have, like we were talking about, this COVID shit. You can't even talk about it, right? I thought you had the right to speak, right? Yeah, you have a right to speak, but all of a sudden, all these platforms are private platforms, and no one. Oh, then why are you trafficking in free speech, right? It reminds me of when Google helped China find dissidents, and you're like, you're an American company, you asshats. What are you doing for money, right? Hey, I can sell you out for money. It's legal. Hey, they're not my countrymen. What? And that's where we are. I think that's where we are. People have seriously stopped. How can I phrase this? People's bottom line is money, and I don't want to say money is the root of all evil, but people sell you out for money. It's one of the large reasons that they do it. It's three things. I read this thing years ago about traders, and the CIA said they do it for generally three reasons. One is money. I'm gonna offer you a whole lot. They're dissatisfied with the job and they think they've been disrespected. That's another one, right? I've done a lot of work here and nobody appreciates me. And these people, I'm gonna teach them a lesson, right? So it's like revenge. It's like it's not, but then sometimes it's money, but some of it is just. We should look this up. I want to get this right. It's money. They're all revenge, right? Isn't money so enrichment? Okay, hold on. Reasons why. It's supposed to be three big reasons, right? Money, ideology, compromise, and ego, right? Ego is one of them. I can do this. I'm smart enough to do this. Ideology, but ideology can mean why people betray their countries, according to Israeli expert. I said, no, oh, India betrayal. Yeah, let's not climb into it too deep into it. Um, I don't. I just think we need to. I don't think we need a new system. I just think we need to rein it in. I think some people like hacks. They've hacked the system, and now you have to. It's like all these people coming here to have babies in America so they can be American citizens. That's a hack to our system, and you should close it. Right? People hopping the board and having babies here is a hack to the system. You wouldn't have to build a wall if you just closed that hack. You see what I'm saying? I think it's more about social economics and the class system than about color. Oh yeah. No. I think it is absolutely. I don't mean to imply that it's about color. I think there is some stuff about color, but I think it's about. We were saying this yesterday on this show. You can't feed the world. Everybody, if you're a nice person and you have a nice big house and you can feed yourself and your family, and every night I come over and you feed me. Wow, and you've known me forever and you give me and that's great. But the moment I and like my 16 relatives begin showing up regularly, you're like, what the we got to put an end to this, right? And then before you can tell us 16, there's another 30 people outside, then another 30 people, right? You have to you can't, as kind as you want to be, you can't have all the poor people living here. You can't. And a lot of them don't care to be here. But they don't care to be here. That might be a loaded statement. That maybe they do care to be here, but a lot of them feel like they just rather would not be where they're from, right? So, yeah, if everybody wants more democracies, you should go over there and fight it out and make that place a democracy. Because we saw what happens when people try to send American men and women over there to give people a democracy. Um, yeah, I don't know, man. The whole thing doesn't make any sense to me. How America gets down. I think it's fiefdoms. I think people are just sending vast sums of money to foreign countries, and they've made it legal to do so. When in fact it's still sort of a treasonous, traitorous thing. And some people might as well be a state, right? We give them so much money while we have a debt. Why are we giving money away if we can't pay these bills? It doesn't make any sense what's going on here in America, what's going on here in the homeland. So I said this before. A lot of people are unhappy. So don't be too mad at those January 6 people, right? I don't think they were insurgents. I just think they were rioters. But and they're hypocritical rioters, right? When Black Lives Matter was marching, they called them all socialists and they wanted the cops to do whatever. And now you're in the same boat, and now you want sympathy, right? They're unhappy for the reasons they're unhappy. Black folks are unhappy for the reasons they're unhappy, and people are marching, and not just here. People have been marching all over the world for a while, and now people have slowly stopped, like really coming out for these marches. And I really think they're going to wish that people were still interested in marching. I think people are just tired of it, and they're like, "I've been marching since the '60s. That's 50 years ago, right? Nothing's happened. Same old bullshit. But the rich get richer." So we're gonna see. We're gonna see what happens in the midterms, right? I mean, I don't see how you're gonna motivate your biggest block to do shit. What that the was it Juneteenth holiday that no one asked for? I keep saying this. He threw us a bone that no one wanted. Nobody was trying to get this to be a holiday. Nobody. That's not what we wanted. We wanted police reform, you idiot. Right? I mean, we wanted the banks to stop being greedy and lenders, right? We wanted all this stuff. We got none of that. So he thinks, hey, we got this black woman. And I'm telling everybody, Kamala Harris is a lot of things, but she's not black. What is this, a one drop rule? She's Indian. She was raised as an Indian girl in California. She's got no black nieces, no black nephews, no black sisters, no black brothers, no black in-laws. What is she talking about? she's got a history of being dark to poor minority communities, especially over weed, threatened to throw people's parents in jail over marijuana, right? So this is what I mean when I talk about, I'm like, people are always lying to you. You better pay attention to what's going on and know who's doing the talking and who's doing the lying and how long they've been around. I know all these politicians because I followed this forever and I know their history. And I really don't like Biden because he's got a dark history. And I was saying this when he was chosen as vice president. I was like, what is he doing? Why did he pick that guy? And now he's president. And the whole thing is, I mean, you're getting 2 in the afternoon press conferences. It's like, look, when he reads the State of the Union, he's going to read it at like 2, and then they're going to have dinner, and then everybody's going to go to bed. I think it's more about, so yes, that's right. But but is that the problem? Isn't the problem that you have extremely wealthy people whose wealth should be distributed fair? Well, here's the thing about redistributing wealth. You would do that if you made them pay taxes. But now they're going, oh, I worked hard in America and the government took it from me. That's no, you know what? You should have paid. How about this? You owe us taxes. I'm not even going to humor with you. And we've gone through the brand of American lawyer, how ridiculous the whole judicial system is. Speaking of ridiculous, like that lawyer, he proved the rule, right? Him and his family were big men there for 100 years. And he probably thought, I could do whatever I want. And you're a big fish in this pond, but the state fish are another pond. And then the federal government is another pond, right? So he essentially was a big fish who came to the attention of bigger fish. So now he's got a dead wife and a dead son. He's got a dead quote unquote lover, we think, in his driveway. His maid is dead. It's a lot of dead people around a lawyer in, like, I want to say 2 years, right? A year and a half. Ugh. Yeah, they hate each other, but they need each other. But now they're both going to lose because her approval record is under 500. Under 500. Got baseball on my mind. Her approval record is underwater, and so is his approval record for Biden Harris. And my typing is horrible. Biden approval rating dips to new low in Cali poll. Let's see it. Kamala Harris approval rating polls versus Biden. All right. Because what in the world? All right. Okay. All right. I see what you're saying. You're saying I can't read this. All right. That's fine. I will read it someplace else. How unpopular is Joe Biden? All right. So disapprove, approve. This is day 1 in office. He was above 500. He was above 50 until bam. What day is that? Day 210. What day was this? August 16th. What happened August 16th? The bombing wasn't August 6th. Yes, it was, because we had to be out the 31st. And he's been under ever since. And he's still dropping. Disapproval is at 49. Oh man, you can't see this. I'm sorry, guys. Sorry about that. All right, so this is where he was when he got elected, 53. And his disapproval was 36. Now we come all the way down here, and about the bombing, he dropped to 50.4, 50 even. Look at this. And now he's underwater. He's way underwater. 46.3 approve and 49 disapprove. Ugh. Bill Clinton. Look at all these. George Bush, Ronald Reagan, Jimmy Carter. Ugh, oh Lord. Jimmy Carter had a 28 approval rating. Left office with a 33. Wow, all polls. All right. Let's go back. That's Biden. Let's look at Harris. For Harris. You tell like I did a lot of marching. You tell people what you want, they go, no, that's not what you need. What you need is this, and they come up with this, and they pull it out their ass. You're like, what? Who are you? How are you my ally when you're undercutting me like this? You're doing all this goofy, silly shit, but you want me to come to the polls. Harris approval rating slumped to record lows May 16th. Record lows? She just got there May. Month had approval rating among lowest ever. This is a month ago. She's been underwater for 6 months. Let's look at 538. Ratings. I can't find 538. All right. Oh, here it is. Facebook. I'm not going to Facebook. Can anyone change your market mind about Donald Trump? Why are we still talking about Donald Trump? Jurisdiction covered by Section 5. 538 show pods and DSP. Harris underwater 47 cent. 47%. Wait, what was that? Was April? That was April. September 2021. All right, this is the closest. Oh no, we just looked at this. Kamala reacts to low August 1st, 2019. Kamala Harris reacts to low polling numbers from Black voters. I gotta click on this one. Cause look, we're not fucking stupid. Just because you tell us someone is what you say they is, don't mean we believe you. I keep telling people this. Look, Black is a culture, right? Just because you show up here from another country, African or Black from England or Black from the Caribbean, does not make you Black, right? There's a lot of stuff that we do together and inside jokes like every other culture, right? Just because you're Asian doesn't mean you know what the other Asian community is, right? Whether it's Korean to Japanese or Japanese to Chinese or Chinese to Filipino or Filipino to Indian, right? Just because you say they're Asian. Kamala Harris says Joe Biden's high polling numbers from African American Democrats are the result of name recognition and says she is prepared to earn the vote. She's just so full of shit. All right, get out of here. I'm really ever. I'm actually. I don't think I've been this hotly angry at president and vice president in my history, and because I don't think you should. They're the highest person in the land, right? They're essentially the United States government embodied in a person. And I try and be respectful of that. I try and criticize them without, but these two, I'm just kind of like, fuck you. That's where I'm at now. I'm like, I did my part and you fucked me over. So now what you got? And what you have is uselessness. So I'm gonna take a flyer on my old approach and just be like, you guys suck. Come on, got no honeymoon. Democrats are fretting. July. Biden's poll number, Trump's approval rating, Biden, Kamala Harris news. Why can't I find her poll numbers? Let's go to images. I'm sure. Kamala Harris. When was this? Joe Biden now 22, May 31. This is June 28th to 30th. 17 now. So she's up. He's down. She's up. Elizabeth Warren is, oh God. I mean, some of these polls, how do you read these polls? Democrats, age. Feinstein, Harris. This is a California poll, Berkeley Institute. Yeah, well, you poll her in her home state, she should do well. All right, let's Kamala Harris approval rating. 538. Huh. Is this it? Biden pledged to choose a woman. So what? Look, just because you choose a woman, that's just as sexist as only saying you're only going to choose a man. How come women don't think that that's sexist by just choosing a woman? I need somebody with a vagina to get over here. It's just as bad. This is what I mean. Look, I don't like the bad thing. I've seen the bad thing happen with Democrats, from Republicans to Democrats, and all the Democrats screaming about it. Then I saw the Democrats do the same thing and no one peeps a word. If you want a government that works, you can't be for the bad thing no matter who fucking does it. So now you're just going to stick a woman up there because, well, she's a woman, and women are what? Somehow better? However you phrase this, it's going to get sketchy, and it's going to look self-serving. Public policy has gotten less popular. She's gotten less popular in her own home state. Look, man, I'm trying to find what is this? Least. Millennials most appeal to the left. Black voters. What let me get me out of there. What kind of poll is this? What is this? What does this even mean? What does this even mean? Those people aren't serious. Donald Trump, Mike Pence. I'm looking for Harris poll numbers that are recent. Everything you need to know about California recall. Kamala Harris, 538. Women of color have always been in politics. Did you say shit like this? Like what? Women of color have always been in politics? No, they haven't. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? We all know that that's not true. Biden's team, good Lord. One went down during Joe Biden's inauguration. I kind of don't care. Pod Sports Politics. How popular is Joe Biden? I guess somebody told him not to run a Kamala Harris poll. Because 538 is essentially, a Democratic outlet, right? Yeah, and by the way, I called this abortion thing like 2 years ago. That it was going to be gone because people need something to fight over. So now everybody gets to raise money on it. See all approval polls. Past presidents. I don't want to compare him with past presidents. I just want his. Yeah. It's not working out. Podcasts. Why did he name it 538? I'd like to know that. And why can't I find her poll numbers? I'd like to know that too. Biden pledges to choose a woman for VP was popular. Okay. So they're talking about putting a woman on the a black woman or Hispanic woman on the Supreme Court. So now you're calling out the type of, you know what I'm saying? It's racist as fuck. It really is. But they're doing it so it's not racist. What? Best man for the job? No best man for the job. But it's exactly what's his name did with he put Joe Biden put this white guy in the FBI civil rights post, and he arrested nobody. He looked into no police shootings. He did none of that. I was like, pretty fucking brutal move. Yeah, he played a lot of racial bullshit. He did a lot of racial politics with Trump. But, blatant as fuck. But the others have been playing racial politics for years now, 50 years or so. And then, like I said earlier today, they didn't pass a police reform bill. So what's going on here? Because you want black people, since nobody's going to vote for Kamala Harris or Joe Biden, now you have to be like, oh, black people, they want to take your voting rights away, and you got to vote for us Democrats who do nothing for you. Because if they get in charge, what are they going to do? Reinstate slavery? My position is this: let the GOP take over. Let this place become Afghanistan. Do you think we'll sit and take it, or do you think the American citizens will fight? It's a question you should think about. Let them do whatever they want and see. And as however unpopular it is, see what happens. And I think a wake up call is needed. I really do. I think everybody's unhappy, not just the black people, not just the women, not just, everybody's really friggin' unhappy. And the people in charge are the only ones happy because they're getting rich and they're giving shit away to their rich friends. And then when they're out of office, they go get one of these giant jobs at Amazon or Netflix or some shit. How's your community organizer? I think he made like $900 million on Netflix. Been back to Chicago? Nope. Obama's. People go, I don't care. He was president, but he didn't do it. And I tell people, he didn't do anything for you. I'm always arguing with people because they just want to big him up anyway because he's the first, but he should have done something for you. He did nothing for you. Obama signs Netflix production deal. How much? That's all I want to know. Was he watching? Was Obama worth? $40 million. Not bad for a guy who was a community organizer. So now for the rest, he's going to live for a long time. So next years, he's just going to be making like $30 million a year. And then every 4 years, he's going to come out and tell you to vote for somebody. And every 4 years, I'm going to be telling you they don't do shit for you. You should vote for somebody else. Man, it's like finding out that Santa Claus was a piece of shit. It really is. I maintain that the best president of my age has been Jimmy Carter, who to this day tries to be a great man, right? Is a great man in my humble opinion. Please, everybody, like and subscribe. That would be super helpful. I'm here every day, 6:30, Monday through Saturday. And I'm here at 7:30 a.m. on Sunday for a Sunday church. If you show up for that pod, it counts as church and it saves your soul for 2 weeks. 2 weeks. We don't want to get greedy. You got to come back. But look, my worldview, I don't think is complicated. I just want the people in charge to do what they claim to do. Make my days better in whatever way you can, right? I'm not even asking a lot, but I don't see any of that. Barbara Jordan. Are we looking at Barbara Jordan? Wasn't she the congressperson who was in this thing that failed to get Barbara Charlene Jordan was an American lawyer, educated politician who was a leader in the civil rights movement, a Democrat. She was the first African-American elected to the Texas Senate after Reconstruction and the first Southern African-American woman elected to the House of Representatives. Yeah, but when was she born? 1936. So she had to have gotten in at the earliest is 50s, right? 56 or so. So for them to say that she was black women have always been involved with politics is not true. It isn't. Because the first group of black people to get elected to anything were post-Reconstruction. They were all men, right? And then they put it into that, and then no one for like 100 years. So this is what I mean by the bullshit hyperbole of people talking. You just kind of go, well, that's not true. It's like how they were all running around wearing kente cloths. Remember that? With their fist up in the air, all these old millionaires. You're just sitting here like, man, they're not going to do anything. This is just showy nonsense. I need real help. I mean, there's a moratorium that they just over, like the rental moratorium. They're going to be throwing people out in the street. That's brutal. They're going to be throwing families out on the street. I just might. If I can run out here and find a little podium. Yeah, I'm telling you. I mean, you really, look, they make you cynical and sinister, right? And then once you have a problem, you go down there, you guys suck it. All of a sudden, look, obviously a crazy person, a Trump supporter, then they demonize you. But you lost your farm, you lost your this, you tried to go to school, you couldn't do that because you couldn't get loans, you got sick, all of a sudden you got $200,000 bill that you have to pay, right? Well, so what are you going? You're going to pay the $200,000 medical bill, or you're going to pay your kid's college, or you're going to pay for the house. They make you hateful. And then you go to the channels, you call this person, then they tell you to call that person, and then you play phone tag with 1,000 people. No one picks up. What? Maybe I'll go to my congressman and they'll help me. Good luck with that. I mean, I don't even know what to tell you. I really do think that there's a lot of stuff that is common sense in America that no one knows anymore. Stuff that you should have been taught in school, or I should have been taught in school. I'm fairly well educated because I did it myself, and I like to read. Now I'm not blah, blah, blah. I'm not well-rounded educated because I didn't read this and that and this and that. I read what I was interested in. What I was interested in, while eclectic it is, it's mostly politics, and then how to paint, how to draw, how to make a film. I'm reading now about how to make music. Quirky stuff. But if I had learned how money works and how the stock market works, maybe my life would be different. But I've always had shitty teachers who didn't want to be there. So when I hear the teacher going, "Teachers are your first, and don't they love you? Your teachers are the best." I'm like, it's like when the cops come out there and tell you how the cops are part of the community and part of you're like, no, what are you doing? Give me a break with these lies. I mean, Tamir Rice was 9. Eleanor Bumpers was 80 when you shotgun her in her house. So yeah, it's just kind of like this whole thing is goofy to me now. And it's also dangerous because we had real enemies who want to eat our lunch, like the Chinese, and we've got like Iraq fuming. They can't wait for something, not Iraq, Iran fuming. They can't wait for something to happen, right? They talk a lot of shit, but they know full well they don't want an invasion. And now they're emboldened because they're like, well, they went to Afghanistan and Iraq. They're not coming over here. They're out of money. And they left all their shit over there. People should be, oh my God, people should be arrested. They left, oh God. People should be arrested. Again, I try not to criticize the military, right? I'm a fan of the military, but wrong is wrong. You should call it, right? You have a environment where young military women are being fucking harassed. Some are being murdered off, right? You've got Navy SEALs who are selling drugs. You got a couple who were high. They're not supposed to do any of that. Got high and found out they were doing drugs. Others were selling drugs. You're just kind of like, what is going on over there? And this is what happens when the standard slips, right? And I blame the top, right? That it rots from the top down. So you get all these politicians and their friends, and they give their friends jobs and stuff, like that guy who was that we mentioned him a couple of days ago. The guy who was the horse trainer and head of FEMA under Bush, right? That's just kind of, oh, this is my friend, and then all these people need somebody to be competent in that seat. And what did they get other than drowned? Right. So then you take that scenario, and you know that they also put maybe a lieutenant or a lieutenant colonel. They made him a 4-star general, and he shouldn't be, right? Or they made this person, they put him in, and they put this, and then people do, what they're told to advance their career and make all this money on the outside. Meanwhile, the Chinese ain't trying to get rich. They know if they don't do their job, they will be hung from the fucking rafters by the Chinese Communist Party. So, I mean, I don't care how we look on the world stage. I think we look bad. We look like a rinky-dink operation now. 40,000 Haitians at the fucking border under a bridge. You can't allow that. And I'd make 3 laws. No disrespect, but you can't have a foreigner in your house. And don't give me this shit because then you are, look, if you have, I say foreigner, you can't even call them illegal aliens anymore, right? If you have family here who came through the process, someone sneaks over, and you've got 9 people in your house who shouldn't be here, or 3 people in your house who shouldn't be here, they should kill your papers and send you back. I mean, people are just routinely breaking the law with the arrogance, and then heaping like emotional blackmail on you. Oh, family, my family's hard. What kind of person are you? I'm the kind of person. Sometimes you have to do this with a dispassionate heart, right? Otherwise, everybody's going to be living here. You already brought 60,000 Afghans here. Are you sure all of those people aren't ISIS and Al Qaeda? And I don't even think they're going to be running around planting bombs. I just think they killed American servicemen and they shouldn't be living here. Remember they found that guy living in Detroit who was an IED guy in Iraq? IED. What would he be? An IED bomber lived in, I won't say Detroit. Okay. Man suspected of I won't say bombings reported to Iraq. Is this it? When you type in bombing, you only get the Middle East. Detroit man who lived his life in the U.S. dies after deportation. Yeah, I've heard some of these too. A man who came to the U.S. as a child was deported over criminal acts, right? He was deported to Iraq and they killed him. They did this a couple of times. Gunman kills 29 in Baghdad apartment. Ugh. They did this some guys. They deported him to Honduras, and the Honduras gangs killed him. Another guy they deported to China. They did a thing on CBS on him. He was trying to get back, had a wife and kids here, but he had a criminal history as well. And my whole thing is this: get rid of him. You know, I used to be a big soaking, bleeding heart, but I've been called nigga about people who shouldn't be in the country. I'm like, look at this. I'm struggling out there, and you fly in here, and the first thing you adopt is racist bullshittery. The fuck out of here. So when I hear this, I'm just kind of like, man, that's sad. 20 years ago, I'd be like, oh, we should do something. This can't be right. Now I'm just kind of like, man, it's too bad. And I know it's cool. It shows. I don't know if my heart is getting colder, but Brownie. Oh yes, you're doing a hell of a job, Brownie. And he was a horse trainer or shower or something crazy, and that's what I think it is. And you don't know it until the bottom falls out. So I mean, we have what do they call them? Service universities, service colleges for a reason, right? You've got the Air Force Academy in Colorado. You've got the Army Academy, West Point in New York. So where are the rest of them? The Coast Guard one, I want to say, is in Massachusetts, right? We should know this as American citizens. Where are the service academies? Good Lord, that typing is horrendous. There are 5 U.S. service academies. The United States Military Academy in West Point, New York, founded in 1802. United States Naval Academy in Annapolis, Maryland. That's right over there. Founded in 1845. 42 years later. United States Air Force Academy in Colorado Springs, founded in 1954. Air Force Academy, 1954. The United States Coast Guard Academy, New London, Connecticut. I knew it was in, what did I say, Maine? And yeah, Connecticut. The United States Merchant Marine Academy, Kings Point, New York. All right, so all of them, well, it would make sense that most of them will be on the East Coast since the country started on the East Coast. And the one farthest west is Colorado because the Air Force is was the newest service branch. Now you have the Space Force, and they're going to need an academy. Bush said the Brownie is doing a heck of a job, Brownie. What's VMI? VMI is the Virginia Military Academy, um, Military Institute. The difference is it's like an ROTC college, right? It's not and it's not affiliated with the military, but they give you. I mean they bust your ass like a military college, but they're not part of the government. They're just part of the state. But you can get you know discipline and a bachelor's of anything you want there. VMI. Virginia Military Institute. Oh, good lord. We don't. Where's your wiki? There you go. Wiki, 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 wiki. Latin. In paz decus in bello presidium. Motto in English. In peace, a glorious asset. In war, a tower of strength. I like that. In peace, a glorious asset. Huh? Okay. A public senior military college. So it's for the public, but it's $536 million. How did this thing kick off? Let me guess. A whole bunch of racists kicked it off. History. I mean, everything was racist up until like I'm giving the date. Let's say up until 2020. After that, we got our shit together like that. In the year after the War of 1812, the Commonwealth of Virginia built and maintained several arsenals to store weapons intended for use by the state militia. In the event of invasion or slave revolt, see, it's always some shady shit invasion. This was really about the slave revolt to protect them from the people that you knew fucking had a gripe against you. One of them was placed in Lexington. Residents came to resent the presence of the soldiers whom they saw as drunken and undisciplined. In 1826, one guard beat another to death. The townspeople wanted to keep the arsenal, but saw a new way of guarding it so as to eliminate the undesirable element, the soldiers. In 1834, the Franklin Society, a local literary and debate society, debated would it be politic for the state to establish a military school? Would it be politic for the state to establish a military school at the arsenal near Lexington in connection with the Washington College on the plan of West Point Academy? So they wanted their own Southern West Point run by the state, which is how you got VMI. They unanimously conclude that it would. Lexington Attorney John Thomas Lewis Preston, there's a name for you, John Thomas Lewis Preston, because became the most active advocate of the proposal. In a series of 3 anonymous letters on the Lexington Gazette in 1835, he's writing anonymous letters, proposing replacing the Arsenal Guard with students living under military discipline, receiving some military education as well as liberal education. The school graduates would contribute to the development of the state and should the need arise, provide trained officers for the state's militia. This is that bullshit that you shouldn't allow. Governance, Civil War period. Oh, a cadet lies dead after being killed by a Union bayonet. Oh, that's not good. Nah. Oh my God, I keep not putting this thing up. All right. Yeesh. That's not good. He don't got no shoes on. He don't got no shoes on. He does have. No, that's not one sock. He's got no shoes on. Wow. Stabbed after being done in by a bayonet. Ooh, that's not awesome. All right. Maybe I do want to finish reading this. Not all of it. Prove train its schools grow with credit development state and should need a rise provide trained officers for the state's militia. So wait a minute. If they give you a college education, how long do you have to do this? Because it shouldn't be a lifelong obligation. It's not the military, which is a lifelong obligation. Once you sign up and do your time, let's say you sign up at 18 and you get out at 21, the military reserves the right to call you back. So you may be 70 and they go, hey, we need you for something because you know this or you remember that or whatever, which I think is a baller ass thing, right? Keep a record of all the men and women you've trained and their know-hows and what they've done after. Maybe they're a rock star and they're like, hey, you went to this academy. We just take this letter. Someone will pick it up for you and behind, the Iron Curtain or whatever. You don't have to touch it, just leave it in a gig bag or something. And then you go, okay, I guess I'll do it, or okay, I'm not going to do it. Either way. After public relations campaign that included press and meeting in person with influential business, military, political figures, and many open letters from a prominent supporting da 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 da. Norwich University. 18th, the Virginia legislature passed a bill authorizing the creation of the school at Lexington Arsenal, and the governor signed the measure. Civil War period. VMI cadets and alumni played instrumental roles in the American Civil War. So wait, they fought against the Union and they're still a school? What fuckery? Okay, alumni played instrumental roles in the American Civil War. On October 14th occasion, the Confederacy called cadets to active military engagement. VMI authorized a battle streamer for each of these engagements, but chose to carry only one. Battle streamer for New Market. Many VMI cadets were ordered to Camp Lee at Richmond to train recruits under General Stonewall Jackson. VMI alums were regarded among the best officers of the South, and several distinguished themselves in the Union forces really. So some went back north. Some distinguished themselves in the Union forces as well. 15 graduates rose to the rank of general in the Confederate Army. And what really? Okay. And one rose to this rank in the Army, in the Union Army. Just before his famous flank attack at the Battle of Chancellorsville, Jackson looked at his division and brigade commanders, noted the high number of VMI graduates, and said, "The Institute will be heard from today." Three of Jackson's 4 division commanders at Chancellorsville, General James Lane, Robert Rhodes, Raleigh Colston, were VMI graduates, and were more than 20 of his brigadier colonels. Okay, well there you have it. I don't know if that school should still be allowed to fucking be running. Okay, we're gonna talk about this. We're definitely gonna talk about that. Superintendents, how is this not? They didn't do anything. What do you do with some military service? While the cadets are required to take 4 years of ROTC, accepting the commission in the armed forces is optional. While over 50% of VMI graduates are commissioned each year, the VMI Board of Visitors has set a goal of having 70% of VMI cadets take a commission. All right, so you train in the military academy, and then after you graduate, the American military will take you like they take people from West Point and the other service academies, right? American citizen, you're trained in military knowledge and know-how and stuff, and they implement you as a first lieutenant. Is that what you are, right? A second lieutenant? The VMI class of 2017 graduated 300 cadets, 172 or 57% of whom were commissioned as officers in the United States military. VMI alum included more than 285 generals and flag officers, including the 5-star General of the Army, George Marshall. George Marshall went to VMI? 7 recipients of the highest U.S. military decoration, the Medal of Honor, and more than 80 recipients of the second highest award, the Distinguished Service Cross and Navy Cross. VMI offers ROTC programs, which I think we need a lot more of. Programs for 4 U.S. military branches: Army, Navy, Marine Corps, and Air Force. VMI, okay, so you get a commission in either one of these: Army, Navy, Marine Corps, Air Force. VMI has graduated more Army generals than any ROTC program in the United States. The following table lists U.S. 4-star generals who graduated from VMI. Does not. Maybe this is why the fucking military is so fucking racist. You got 4 military academies. Why are you leaning so heavily on this one, which fought against you in the Union, in the Civil War? It doesn't make any sense to me, especially if they're supposed to be. Oh man, let me stop. All right, it's admission of black students. Okay, Virginia Military was the last public college in Virginia to integrate. The last one. First admitting black cadets in 1968, but interracial problem persisted to the present day. You haven't fixed your racial problem, and you're a fucking military college. Black cadets still endure relentless racism in an atmosphere of hostility and cultural insensitivity. What the fuck is a rat line? During the first 6 months of VMI, new cadets are called rats. The accepted term since 1850 for a new cadet. The VMI rank Ratline is tough, old-fashioned indoctrination searching what dates back to the Institute's foundings. All rats refer to their class to male or female as brother rats. They refer to the females as brother rats. The term brother rat is a term of endearment which lasts a lifetime among VMI graduates. All right, you know what? This is that hokey bullshit that I just don't buy into. Alumni, yeah, we get it. Men's basketball, football, athletics, clubs and activities, honor code. Has a strict honor code, but you have a racist problem. Yeah, I'm just going to ignore that whole section. Student life, admission of blacks. Where's the admission of women? Here you go. In 1997. 97? Oh my God. Oh. All right, I need a second. Give me a minute. 97. Oh. 97, 2007, 2017. So they just started letting women in like 24 years ago. 97. Yeah, okay. 25 years ago. Not good, guys. Supposed to be 99 years Department of Justice filed the discrimination lawsuit against my for its all male admission policy. While the court challenge was pending, a state-sponsored Virginia Women's Institute for Leadership was opened at Mary Baldwin College in Stanton, Virginia, as a parallel program for women. We don't want to do. This is the thing about the fucking South. They're always looking for a workaround instead of doing the right thing. So you open up one for women across the way, so you can still have your bullshit nonsense. And I fucking firmly believe this is why this country is going to fall into the fucking the mire. You need to stop the arrogance of this, and it's not kept in by one or two people. There's teams of people, right? They're like the Baathists. You end them. They got to fight against the country and still remain in school. It's sort of fucking ridiculous. All right, let's cut this. What do we got over here? Okay, fine. John Walsh. Here's the thing about John Walsh. I'm not a fan. He had a tragedy happen to him, and he's managed to just make a grip of money off of it, quite frankly. But he comes across as everybody's guilty. What the fuck is he gonna do? And if you look at a lot of the shows, just like Cops, I mean, he was just accusing. I mean, the government is looking for you, but man, okay. Do we want to look into some of these? You know, that's another show. We might do it tomorrow. He's not going to do anything. Let's not kid ourselves. One, he's 75 years old. He's not a lawyer, right? He's not a cop. He's not an investigator. He's a host. He's a fucking television host. What is he going to do? Criminal investigator. Bullshit. We're calling him a criminal investigator because he asks questions on a crime show is like calling me I don't even have anything for that. What is the equivalent of that? I have a weekly show. So I get weekly, a daily show. So I guess that's like saying I'm up there with all the other people who have daily shows, right? I don't even have a good was born in Auburn, New York, with 4 children. He graduated married. He attended university, graduate bachelor. After college, he went to South Florida, where John became involved in building high-rise. Oh, he became involved in building high-rise luxury hotels. He's a hotelier. Okay. and then some horrible thing happened, and then he was on TV for 20 years accusing everybody of being guilty. And TV makes you guilty. And I get people run. Don't get me wrong. I mean, don't run. Well, maybe if you can get away with it, because America's criminal justice system is a fucking joke. If you can get away from it, get away from it. But I mean, I don't think that's anybody, unless you're super rich with a private jet. So you might as well just show up at court and take. And first of all, if you're poor, you're handcuffed at the scene. But if you're rich, you get to go home and fix some shit and make sure the dogs are all right, and all this kind of weird two system stuff. Yeah, I mean, and here's the thing. Normally, I would have some understanding for him, but when you take your pain, your hurt, and then you translate that into essentially a gun for aimed at other people, I have a problem with it. But again, I'm not going to die on that hill, right? We had this conversation, like I was talking about R. Kelly. And I was like, all these women saying all this shit. I mean, da 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 da. Where's the evidence? Ba 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 ba. And my buddy rightfully told me, I mean, no one cares about R. Kelly, right? And it's really not about R. Kelly so much as it's about the legal system. Where's the evidence? All you're hearing is salacious shit. No one said, here is pictures of him. Here's text messages of him. All these people who said, all these ex-girlfriends who saw all this shit. How you seen all this shit? And then keeping it quiet for 30 years, right? And what in my opinion, what it does is there are real stories in there, and then you just pile on all these fake stories, and then everything sounds like bullshit. Everything sounds like bullshit. Where's the realness of it? It's real that he was married to Aaliyah when she was young, but here's the thing. People get married young. I hate to say it, but it's true. They do. They get married young. With parents okay sometimes, or for whatever reasons, even in the modern era, right? I don't even know what to make of it. But like I said, I wouldn't die on this hill. But it would be nice if they were like, and here we have proof of him being a pedo, right? Oh, look at his computer. We found all these pedo images on his computer. Oh, all right. Tell me something. Just don't tell me you've got a stream of ex-girlfriends showing up saying wild shit and leaving it at that. All right. Oh, man, we've been streaming for a while. We were about to end this thing like an hour ago. We've been streaming for 2 hours and 32 minutes. Sunset was at 7 o'clock exactly today, and tomorrow is at 6:59. So, we have to keep an eye. Not today. Yesterday was. It was not the vernal equinox. What was it? It's the first day of fall. Of fall. Tuesday, December. Hold on, wait. Autumn. Wednesday, December 22nd, ends December 21st. All right. Autumnal equinox. Autumnal equinox. First day of fall, why the equinox isn't as equal as you might think. We'll see. And then you write that story. Who's this story for? More paranoid bullshit. It's the equinox, for God's sakes. I mean, why it's not as even as it's even the idea that nature is unfair to you. Farewell flip-flops. Hello, pumpkin spice. The autumnal equinox is Wednesday. This seems like a better title. But all this, why the equinox isn't as equal as you might think. Like, oh no, something else. If you get a chance, hop in a car and drive through this foliage before it's all gone. Because, oh, look at this. Oh, look at this. That's one thing I do miss about living in the Northeast, the color shift. I don't miss the snow, though. Yeah, here you go. This happens as the Earth, the axis is the imaginary line around which the planet spins. Yeah, all right. All right, so what we're going to do, look at this. Let's see if we can get a separate shot of this. This might end up a screensaver. Woo, look at that. Good Lord, you're not up again, guys. Come on, you're killing me. Look at that. Look at that. That is freaking beautiful. This is the kind of quiet, winding road Stephen King was walking down when that car hit him. Some bucolic street. Okay, ladies, get ready. It's gonna be pumpkin spice, pumpkin. All right, I think pumpkin is something totally different. Look at this. Pretty fucking incredible. Look at all the colors. You got gold, right? You got mustard yellow. You've got pea green in there. You've got ash green in there. You've got deep green in there. You've got like 5 colors of browns, this mound of brown versus these tree sticks, versus this bush, versus the mountain rocks here. This looks green. You've got green up here, green and brown modeled here. See, I might want to try. Every time I try and paint something beautiful like this, it turns out to be booty. But I love to look at all the colors, man. It's just fucking fantastic. All right, so we are gonna end it here, and we will be back tomorrow. Hey, Mike Speeds, good to see you. Thank you. Bob Ross is like, his story is so amazing. He was like, apparently he was in the military as a drill instructor. He had to yell at people, and he did 20 years in the military. And he said once he got out, he was never going to raise his voice again. And that's that whole image of him just sort of being laid back and mildly whispering to you about painting this. And I was like, I wonder what it would be like if I could just give up not raising my voice and not letting people get at me. Thanks, man. I'll see you tomorrow, hopefully. Have a good night. All right, so yeah, I guess we are putting this one to bed. And hopefully I will see all of you tomorrow. 6:30. Please like and subscribe. We're here every day. We will be here every day for the next 1,000 days, talking about politics and music and why my C chord is still horrible. Did I do it right? No, I didn't. See that? More stuff to work on. I think I'm going to start my music show again because at this time, better orchestrated. Remember, I kept thinking, I should get a teacher, I should get a teacher, I should get a teacher. I don't want anybody in here because of COVID, but I think I might actually sign up for some sort of teaching gig. Not teaching gig, but teaching, get a teacher, and somehow see if I can do it online. I don't know. But yeah, we're not giving up on the guitar, and I got to get that C chord down because that C is really, it's really a kicker. And then there's 3 ways that someone told me to do it, right? So there's this way. Hold on. Right? I sort of like this one, but this one has all 4 fingers, right? Top E string, top E string. But it also has the bottom E string, which is lighter. Oh, wait, there you go. This is my problem, this finger right here. Versus just 3 fingers and a muted top string. I sort of like this one because I sort of like using all my fingers. All right. There is something to be said about one of the fingers. We will be back tomorrow, 6:30. Please like and subscribe. Tomorrow is Thursday. I'll try not to be late if you try not to be late. Everyone, thank you for coming through. Thanks for coming through, Meek. Thanks, William, as always. Thank you, JB, for coming through as well. And thank you. Where is she? Where is she? Oh, boy. This thing spins too fast on me sometimes. And thank you, Christine Snow Bunny, for coming through as well and talking to me. I know your time is valuable and you can spend it anywhere. And I really do appreciate that you spent some of it with me. I really do. That's no bullshit. That is dead serious. I want to thank you. Thank you. Hey, James, just in time to end this thing. I want to give James a big shout out. Catch his show. He does, hold on, wait. This is supposed to be here. He'll get you fit in the fitness. I need to actually start doing some of those because I'm a little around. Thanks, guys. Thanks, everyone. Um, yeah, it's you are young once, and that philosophy should carry you all your life, not just in your young days. Uh, so yeah, come on, tomorrow is going to be awesome. I'm pretty sure the show I'll come up with is going to be good. I'm not supposed to be doing this behind my back, right? Um, my bad, but I love you, man, and appreciate your respect for things. Thanks, James. I appreciate that. So, we yesterday Netflix things to watch on Netflix. That movie Postmortem. It's I think that's Scandinavian about a woman who dies and comes back in this small town. It's so super good. It's 6 episodes. You got to watch it. Each one is about 50 minutes. Mwah! It's genius. It's a love story, but it's not sloppy, lovey, corny. It's a horror story. It's not horror, gory, corny. It's it's funny. It's sort of a comedy, but it's not a comedy. So it does a really nice job of tracking all these things. Where you just when you think, is everyone going to be lovey-dovey and kiss? You're going to ruin this story. Nope, it's none of that. Just when you think, oh my God, gore. Nope, none of that. It's called Postmortem. Give it a shot. And I'm got to go back and finish watching. Oh my God, what is the name of that? The Korean movie. Man, Squid Games. Squid Games? I think Squid Games. But let me know what you guys are watching, and I'll give it a peruse. All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, men and women, trees and bushes, earth and sky, I will see you in the next one. And the next one is tomorrow, 6:30. Thank you for showing. And I'll just end it before I get off on another rant. Thanks, everyone. Seriously, thank you. Like I said, I know your time is valuable, and I really do appreciate it. Like and subscribe, and get with us tomorrow. We're going to do it all again. We're here for the next 1,000 days. Remember that. All right. This one's on you. And enjoy the rest of your hump day.